Hey guys, this is Dalton. I'm going to be doing a short lesson over the pollination process, and usually this is a process that we teach in the middle school grades, and with life science is a good subject to teach. Um, Pollination is going to be the process that we see in the world today that has to do with the fertilization of flowers and fruits. And first of all, pollen grain is it's like a water resistant sperm cell. Basically, it develops from spores, and it's going to have what we call gametophytic parts to it, and it helps produce the type of sperm that is required for this process. So pollen grains, they are usually what we call transported by animals mainly, but we also see it being transported by water, gravity, wind, any other type of process. We have multiple kinds. So pollination, we know that it's mainly carried by bees. That's how they make their honey. So first of all, they get the nectar. They're seeking nectar for making their honey, and as they're flying from flower to flower, we see these pollen grains stick to them. We see them stick to their fur or any type of their or any part of their wing. Um, so we see this, and whenever they fly from flower to flower, this is when the pollination process begins. So we don't always have to have bees transferring pollen. We also have hummingbirds that do this. We also have butterflies that do this when they're seeking um, food or anything in general. And once this pollen sticks to their bodies in general, and they fly from flower to flower, they transfer it and allow it to be able to fertilize. So, second of all, we see being stuck to the stigma of the actual flower itself, and then once the pollen grain sticks to the stigma, it starts reproducing. Well, actually, it doesn't reproduce at that given moment, but then it slides down what we call the pollen tube. And once the pollen tube is opening, then we see an actual splitting of the sperm, and then once it splits, we see the fertilization at the egg occur. So basically, what we see here is we see without pollination, we see that the whole world would be very dull, and also we see that the nature in general will be dull. Fruits and flowers, they will not be blooming in general. Um, Also, animals like bees and also animals like hummingbirds and butterflies. See, they wouldn't be able to get the food or they need, or also even be able to reproduce flowers in general, and also make beneficial stuff for their hives like honey in general. So pollination is a huge process that has to be undergone in order for us to have certain things like flowers bloom every spring and fruits that become ripe over time. Even though we grow to hate it, and it causes our allergies and all this other sicknesses that occur in the spring, we also have to also have to remember that there is a significance behind the process of pollination. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was my lesson over pollination. Hope you enjoyed it.